my god, look at this thing! Well, I gotta go try this out.
Sometimes I feel like there's two different people in control of me. So there's this first guy who goes to sleep full of ambition and clarity. Seriously, nothing could hold this guy back from his passion and his discipline. He's everything I aspire to be and everything I am when I'm at my best. His goals guide his every action. But then I go to sleep and something changes. When I wake up, it's like someone else is in charge. Now, this guy has no ambition whatsoever. This guy truly thinks that nothing on earth matters more than sleeping in. He convinces me so often that sleeping in and messing up my schedule to feed his laziness will all be worth it in the end, but he's always wrong. My greatest trouble among all of this is finding out how to get these two to communicate with each other. This week, my main struggle revolves around dealing with the second guy. You see, he started to bleed into my days in the form of brain fog, as opposed to disappearing like he usually does with a cold shower or a cup of coffee. Now he lingers. He's evolved into a more complicated enemy, turning my motivation and discipline game into more of a chess match. This particular week began with the ultimate test of discipline. A new Xbox. Sunday. I spent the first half of my day working incredibly hard on my homework, as is typical for the holy day of rest when you're a college student. I didn't really feel very motivated to work out on this day because the fog actually began last week and was just bleeding over, but luckily my fitness class came in handy.
One of my fitness classes is forcing me to exercise today.
I just finished running. It was cool because I haven't tried to go as fast as I can in a while, and also haven't been running that much, so my speed slowed down a little bit. I did a 12-minute run. I made it a mile and a half, which is awesome. That's a pretty good pace. After my workout, my package arrived. I finally got my hands on the new Xbox Series X, and as an important side note, let me tell you, it is everything it is cracked up to be. It plays so many games across all other Xbox generations. The graphics and FPS on the new game plays as smooth as butter, and I had a seriously hard time getting my hands away from it for the first few days, which leads me directly into the next part. Monday, and also Tuesday. For these 2 days, as it might be obvious, there's really not much to report. I played video games, mostly Halo, for hours upon hours, and these days were quite unproductive. I didn't work out, and I certainly didn't work on any homework. The wind is literally whipping right now. You know how they say the wind whips, and you're like, does it really whip? That's what's happening. Tell it to stop. Can you hear it? At first, I was very stressed out about this fact because video games all day is not typical behavior for me. But in hindsight, I've been working my butt off lately, so I think it might have just been the small sabbatical I needed. I'd also like to clear one thing up. I truly have nothing against video games. I think they can be a great way to relax or have fun when going outside isn't really an option due to weather or really anything else. I also think they can serve as a great reward for accomplishing hard work. But in extreme cases, video games can obviously be addicting and distracting. And when used too much or improperly, they can lead to serious lack of mental clarity known as brain fog. Wednesday.
I didn't get up on time, but I got up late, and I still went and ran 3 miles, went to school, went to work, and then I just went on a walk for about an hour, which was nice. Ignore this. I went and longboarded around, so that's more exercise. So for the past 2 days, me getting no exercise, today was pretty polar opposite of that. I worked out and was very active, even so afterwards.
Thursday. It had been a few days since I'd gone swimming, but I'm certainly glad I did. Something about the water really helped to clear the brain fog. This, as well as the run on Wednesday, were the first things I noticed that really helped clear my head. Noted. Exercise is the best medicine. My second realization was how much a change in music can help clear up the clouds in your head. You see, I've been listening to the same small playlist every day for the last few weeks because it's sort of become my mental musical comfort zone. If you don't branch out and change up the rhythm, you'll get brain stuck. which is exactly where I was. To fix this, I started listening to worship music, partly to help with the brain fog, but also partly to open back up to my Christian faith, which worked wonders. Worship music really has a way of getting to me. Even in my previous years as an atheist, I would find myself listening to it again from time to time. However, I did notice a new issue I found with the worship songs I used to listen to.
Okay, so I 100% expect to get some hate from this. The only problem is I love these songs. I love the songs. But I want to yell at the person who's singing them. Like, half of these bands, they are so annoying about it. They're ruining the songs. They're like, your love never fails. Love, oh your love, I feel your love. Like, they're yelling that while they're singing. I'm like, stop doing that. Stop that. That's not the song. You're ruining the song. And I'm sure they'd be like, I'm just feeling the spirit. I'd be like, no, you're just moaning to sound more pious. You're religiously moaning. Double entendre didn't even mean for that. It feels like they're breaking that unity. You know, it's like, I don't know if anybody's been in a church where they used to say the Lord's Prayer all together, but there's something like really moving and powerful about it when you hear everyone's voice in unison. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. It's just like, oh my God, whoa. You feel that power. I don't know. Maybe it's just random thoughts. Maybe I'll change my mind as I get more into it. I just started noticing it and thinking, wow, that's kind of annoying. And then also the like prompt that they give people for the next verse. It's like when you're in church, the words are on the screen. Like, you don't have to prompt people. They're like, na 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 na. God of heaven, everyone, God of heaven, come. And I'm like, stop, you don't have to do that. We've heard this song 3 times this week. We know the drill.
Later, I had a presentation in class about social justice, and my group decided at the end to have a series of discussion questions. This class was incredibly open about their ideas, and our group discussion was actually very interesting and insightful. This helped to clear the fog immensely. Noted, if you intently engage with interesting material on a deeper than surface level, it will help clear the fog. After class, I grabbed some lunch with my mom. It had been a minute, so it was nice to see her and catch up. I genuinely cannot explain how much fun my mother is, but that warrants its own vlog for another day, so I'll save it for now. So that night, I had another realization about the fog and why I might be experiencing it. You see, I've had problems with watching movies recently. Usually, sitting down to watch a feature film is the best part of my day, but lately I've been worried about productivity to an unhealthy extent. I started to believe that I don't have the time to do anything leisurely that takes more than a few minutes, so clearly movies don't make that list. But that doesn't mean that I don't watch something. So instead, I've been watching small YouTube videos ad nauseum. Which is silly because the amount I watch adds up to a full movie and then some anyway. What's worse is I'm only half paying attention to them. I mainly have them on to avoid my own thoughts. I don't allow myself to be alone, which keeps my brain fog from finding peace with the world around me. This appears to be my main source of fogginess. I noticed this after being talked into watching the film What's Eating Gilbert Grape starring Johnny Depp. I was incredibly reluctant at first, but this ended up being a truly incredible and moving film. Best of all, something about sitting back and letting this narrative unfold helped me to clear up my brain like nothing else. There's something about really investing in a story that keeps you in the present moment. This reminds me of something I thought about 2 weeks ago.
Hi, next week's vlog. For this week's vlog, I'm from last week's vlog. So this is so what you're watching. So for the past few weeks, I've just been listening to my audiobook, basically all the time. Like I've watched one movie, and I haven't really listened to much music. I've mainly just been listening to my audiobook, and I've noticed that it can be really easy for me to zone out, and I'm constantly hitting the rewind 30 seconds button on Audible, constantly hitting it because I'm like, what the heck did he just say? And I keep going back and going, okay, and having to listen. Sometimes I have to listen, I have to hit it like 3 or 4 times. Why do I have such a hard time paying attention, but such an easy time zoning out? So anyways, I just put on a YouTube video for like just a second. For whatever reason, I just wanted to listen to YouTube for a minute while I was driving. And I kept zoning out. I guess I've been in my audiobook mood for the last couple days. So I've been thinking, like, I need to pay attention to what's going on constantly, and like getting mad at myself for not paying attention. And so just now I noticed that I wasn't paying attention. I got mad at myself, and then I was like, oh, it's a YouTube video. I actually don't care. I just have it on to like have something on so it doesn't matter. And then I realized
That's where it comes from. That's why I and probably lots of others have so much trouble paying attention, because when we just put on podcasts in the background while we're not really paying attention to it, we're basically training ourselves to consider any form of media or any form of anything, really, even when people are talking to us and telling us their stories, we've trained ourselves to kind of half listen. So that's not good. So maybe I should create a rule not to listen to things that I don't care about. Stop half-ass listening to things. New rule. Put it on. New rule. Stop half-ass listening to things.
Noted. Stop listening to nonsense in order to avoid yourself. Friday. I got up at 8 because I stayed up late working on homework the night before, but I think sleep is pretty important, so I decided to have grace for myself this time. After I got up, I went for a 4-mile run, which was the farthest I've run in a few weeks. Another revelation from this run alone. There's something meditative about running. The longer I run, the less brain fog. After class and work, I took another impromptu trip to Dallas with my sister to pick up our friend Callie from the airport. It was nice getting to see the city again, and the way back I spent some time listening to my classical playlist on Spotify. This became the tool to take me right into the present moment and away from the fog. This is the playlist I used to listen to whenever I needed to focus, but it slowly developed into more of my deeper meaning playlist over time. I have vivid memories of walking in the cold rain on a hot summer day, listening to this playlist and feeling literally drenched in the beauty of the life that surrounded me. The playlist has become the ultimate cure to my fog. There's something beautiful and even magical about these classical pieces of music. So, there it is. Okay. This is the playlist. That's who made it. It's on Spotify. This is what it sounds like. I highly recommend you check it out. It will change your life for real. Today. Okay, so nothing's really happened today, because today kind of just started. So how about this? Why don't I go work out and do some homework, have a day, come back, I'll tell you about it. All right? Okay, I'll be right back. All right. Hello, once again. Today. After recording the vlog this morning, I went for a nice 2-mile run and a 1-kilometer swim. The run was nice and smooth and just what I needed. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding when I say exercise is the best medicine. It can do anything from burning calories to curing the blues. The only obstacle today was how incredibly windy it became. It was so windy that I was hit with a leaf during my run, and it actually hurt. After that, the swim was pretty nice, and I noticed some definite progress where my kicking is concerned. I guess it's true, if you do something every day, you're bound to improve. Freaking train again. After the swim, I went home and finished up some schoolwork for the weekend, and then I headed to work. On the way there, I noticed some serious Dust Bowl vibes that the wind had stirred up today. Once I got to work, I did some acting for a shoot Ripple of Light was doing, and it was pretty fun improvising with these guys. I haven't really acted since high school, so it was nice to feel that high again that I get from performing. Someday I'll have to get back into that in some capacity. Anyway, there's another thing I noticed during my swim that I think ties into the rest of this week. So if you've never swam in a lap pool before, you might not know that there are these markers on the ground that indicate where the wall is in relation to you, so you can know when to stop to prevent yourself from crashing into the wall at full speed. Well, during my 200-meter swim, I got some water in my goggles, and it stung in my eyes a little bit, so I closed them. The problem was I could no longer see the lines, and this fact conveniently slipped my mind. So, as is probably pretty obvious at this point, I hit the wall with my arm on one of my strokes, and it hurt pretty bad. Luckily, it was just my arm and not my head, but I think it demonstrates a larger point. I was afraid of a small inconvenience in the sting I might feel if I kept my eyes open. But this kept me from being fully aware and ultimately led me to getting hurt much more than a little sting would hurt. This is kind of like what I experienced with my brain fog this week. I was afraid of the possible boredom or discomfort I might feel just being present with myself. Whenever I was alone, I would just play video games or half watch YouTube or listen to the same songs over and over again just so I wouldn't experience my thoughts unfiltered. Luckily, I was able to dig myself out of it this week, but the brain fog it caused was so much worse than being alone with my thoughts for a few minutes could have ever been. Sometimes I think life entitles you to a certain amount of suffering no matter what, but it's your job to pick which type. You can suffer on purpose and grow as a result, or you can choose expediency and short-term gratification to avoid that suffering, but eventually it'll catch you. And if you're not in front of it and in control of it, you could suffer far greater than necessary. So I guess the ultimate lesson that I've learned this week from all of my brain fog and my avoiding behaviors is really just choose your suffering and face it head on. I hope my experience can provide a nice example if you guys ever need to clear up some brain fog. I didn't get much into my book this week, and there's a reason for that. I didn't read any of my book this week. I kind of would always get to the point where I felt like I was going to read some of my book, and I would even start like opening the page, but then something else would come up, and I just never got to it. So it's okay, because technically February hasn't even started yet, so I still have time. It's not until the end of February that I have to get it finished. That's just a little update on the book for February. As a reminder, it's Notes from Underground, starting it this week, and we'll have more on it for you next week. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next week. And as always, follow your goals and be at peace. Later, guys.
This is pretty troubling. I don't know if I want to check that. Maybe I'll just get a 0 for today.